Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Okay, the show is on fumes this morning. Declan at Target Field late into the night. Judd watching a ridiculous 10 whatever. What time did the puck actually drop last night?
10. Just after 10, actually. Not as bad as I thought. Probably like 10 or something like that. Not
Still
terrible.
ridiculous.
Not terrible.
And then the Timberwolves, they still got the split. We'll talk about it on Flagrant Howls. So all of us burning the midnight oil, and here we are this morning. Purple Daily, write that down. The only show in America that has the stones enough to put statistics next to our predictions. And this will be the final round of predictions before the draft tomorrow night, round 1. And before we start these predictions, the accountability session, let's stop at Quick Trip here. Let's fuel up to start our day.
That sounds like an excellent idea. And guess what? When you're stopping by Quick Trip, the options are endless. I've been talking about this for months now. But what about this? What about lunch or dinner from Quick Trip with their chicken? No ordinary chicken here, folks. Hand-breaded, fried to perfection, and ready for you to enjoy. Try their juicy chicken tenders, or how about this one? The boneless wings that are perfect for dipping, the crispy chicken sandwich. I could go on, but I won't, because I probably tantalized you enough to want to stop by and check it out yourself right now. And that's only one of the many options that you can find at Quick Trip. And heck, put the app on your phone. You don't even have to go in. They'll bring the chicken out to you. What more could you ask for from Quick Trip?
Tantalize is another. That's an underutilized word, I feel like.
You're tantalized by that chicken because you're like, oh my gosh, I can get the A-piecer for dinner.
Yeah. I'm going to tantalize you guys into joining North American Banking Company, which powers Write That Down every Wednesday. That's right. Checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, financing a new business.
CDs?
Yeah.
What do we got here?
It's all very
CDs.
important.
You name it, North American Banking Company can give you peace of mind about where you bank. You know, I a couple months ago, I was telling you guys about a terrible experience I had with a different bank where we really needed to talk to a human or two, and it was just a communication disaster. It's one of the first things you'll notice about North American Banking Company, a Minnesota-based local bank with 6 metro locations, friendly, knowledgeable people, human relationships. You can find out more at nabankco.com/Mackey. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, boys. This is how it works. If you are new to Write That Down, maybe you're a new listener or viewer to Purple Daily, welcome in. Click that subscribe button, the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. 5-star rating, positive review on Apple and Spotify. You can help us out. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are pretty much, they can be show-related predictions too. Those are pretty much the only rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Tony and be a guest listener participant, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled. All right. So I thought we had this one come off the board a few weeks ago. Maybe I didn't make it official in the spreadsheet, so if I'm doubling up here, I apologize. But Judd said there'd be alterations to the kickoff in 2025.
I thought you took that.
I think you did too.
I think you took it off the board.
It was. It's possible that I threw it in here and then just didn't mark it in the spreadsheet. You're only being credited with it once in the spreadsheet,
regardless. Okay,
and in the map.
So we're just going back and saying how great this prediction was by highlighting it a second time, which I absolutely like. Okay, fair enough.
It was. You are a visionary when it comes to kickoff alterations. So. And then I told you guys there'd be a credible report linking Kirk Cousins to the Vikings. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take that Adam Schefter report this week to the bank.
To the Kirk bank. Yeah.
To the Cousins bank.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Touchdown. Yeah.
The specificity here.
Well done. Yeah.
Traditionally, these sort of credible reports linking are touchdowns on the show. Yeah. If you missed it yesterday, Schefter said that the Falcons are looking for a team to eat 20 million of the 45 million guaranteed. No team is biting, but he said if the Falcons come down to like 10 million, then the Steelers and the Vikings are teams to watch. So he throws those teams out, I don't think just licking his finger and sticking it in the wind. He probably is hearing some things.
Yeah, I think it's fair in his world to say that's more a report, since he rarely would like just throw stuff out arbitrarily. So yeah.
Okay, listeners had nothing come off the board, so we'll highlight one that's still on the board from our guy Drew McGarry from Defector. He said J.J. McCarthy will win a Super Bowl with the Vikings. If this was, maybe this is, if this was like at a sports book in Vegas, which side of it would you bet? Would you bet the yes?
I'd probably bet yes.
Would
sure.
you?
Long-term bet, potentially, but yeah.
Why not?
Not necessarily this year, but
no.
2026.
I could see it.
We'll see. And then, Declan, nothing off the board for you, so we'll highlight this one here, which is relevant this week. You said at some point in the calendar year of 2025, it'll be announced that U.S. Bank Stadium will host a future combine or NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the draft here.
I feel good about this.
How far out is the draft right now scheduled?
I think it's Philadelphia next year.
They're going back to Philadelphia?
I think. Here, let's look this up. We're not
if
going to.
They're going to go to Green Bay.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But I don't know. Let's see. I don't know when they announce like the 2027. Do they announce it this week? I feel like they announce it at the end of the draft, right?
Yeah.
Or am I making that up?
I think so. I think they announce it like 2 years in advance.
Okay.
So it moved. It's been 11 years now since it moved from New York. It was in New York City for like 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
Yep. What's his name? Got in the PJ and flew back to Cleveland to make sure they get the GM and draft day, right?
Sonny?
The owner flew back from Radio City Music Hall. Somehow got back into Cleveland before the pick was made.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fast PJ.
Are you guys planning to watch draft day this week?
No.
I don't know. If I am, it's today because I don't have any other.
might.
Actually, I don't.
I
don't
won't
have
be.
time.
I won't be watching it.
No.
I think what I mean, the Twins are. What time are the Twins? It's a night
6:40.
game. Okay.
Yeah. They give
So
him
Dex
a-
has an excuse.
All 4,000 of us. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy.
you and your friends.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That was.
Rise is a small one.
Quite the viral tweet last night.
Yeah, I'm sure the Twins are very pleased by your work. Nice work. Way to go, Declan.
Yeah, I had a great extra innings episode. Was filled with injury updates and notes and plenty of great things. Scorn Our Twin Show YouTube channel for all those great notes and things that are happening with the Twins.
Dex is doing a great job covering the Twins, but the Twins aren't living up to their end of the bargain.
Well, no, he's doing fine work. But back to his prediction, I think there's a far better chance of the draft. The combine doesn't move. Like they keep threatening to move it, and they never move.
And they
it,
should.
so.
Quite frankly, it seems like a perfect place.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the country.
Right.
I get. It's a great convention city. I get that the NFL is now looking at these things as major cash cows because cities are right. Cities are like bidding and paying for this.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
So they can get a big fat check for Super Bowl, for combine, for draft.
But you're right. The combine is like the functionality of the combine is so important that if you are like, we're gonna have the combine in Green Bay too, it's like that's not gonna work.
And part of it for the combine too. We're like way inside baseball here, but there's so many. It's not just about guys running the 40. It's all the meetings that take place between teams and agents and players, and everyone's kind of mixed around different hotels, and they're all fairly walkable, but you need like big hotels all within a few blocks so that you can bounce around. Mm-hmm. Green Bay, Wisconsin hosting an NFL combine would be.
Did you guys see? I saw on Cheesehead TV. This was like maybe a month ago, but like the local Fox affiliate of Green Bay did a story because some woman was Airbnb-ing her house for the draft, and it's like obviously it's right in front of Lambeau. She dropped it from $10,000 a night to $5,000 a night for like the same house that I am buying in St. Paul square footage wise.
But there's no hotels. Like it's
right.
$5,000 a night.
Oh yeah.
Did she get any bites?
I don't know, but like Aaron was basically laughing his ass off because it was like, you're telling me, oh, big price drop here, $10,000 to $5,000 a night. Like, this is an actual news story because these houses are on the land of basically Lambeau Field.
Doesn't this happen too? Like when the Ryder Cup was in town, and we've had a couple majors here. and some of those houses out on like the lake. So like if you're there's a big story about Tiger Woods paid like $100,000 to stay in someone's mansion. And then also had them remove a bunch of the furniture and swap in his preferred furniture.
Yeah, they rent. They pay these huge prices to rent the house, and then basically have all of the homeowners' furniture put in storage and rent the furniture that they prefer. And it's incredible.
Yeah, so you get back home and it's like you never left. But Tiger Woods was here with I don't know, like a lion themed couch at one point.
They threatened to kick you out of your lease, evict you if people rented out my apartment during Super Bowl week. Like our landlord was all over it and all that type of stuff. Like we couldn't even leave our apartment. We couldn't rent out our apartment. Excuse me. We couldn't rent out our apartment during like Super Bowl.
Really? Samesies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, because you don't own it. Yeah. But if people cleaned up. Like if you had a condo or something that you owned in downtown Minneapolis for Super Bowl week, yeah, it was kind of a windfall. So here's the updated stats. Super Bowl to Super Bowl is how the season runs here. So it's it's kind of a small sample size, but I'm sitting just under 58%, Judd 52.5%, listeners just under 43%, Declan 28.5%, Judd and myself both with 2 touchdowns, listeners and Declan looking for their first touchdowns. Career stats, Declan, this dates back 4 years. Declan 36.5% completions, Judd 35%. I'm at 34.5. Listeners, 24.3. Listeners and myself tied with 60 career touchdowns. Declan 53, Judd with 49. So those are your stats, the accountabilities. Let's get Tony in here making his debut as a Write That Down guest listener predictor. Tony, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Excited for the draft. What are we rocking there? Little Justin Jefferson?
It's Justin's number, but I have 2 jerseys. I have a 12 and an 18 because my daughters were born on the 12th and the 18th.
Okay, gotcha.
Because that's a Sidney Rice.
Pardon me?
It's the Sidney Rice,
from the Sidney Rice era.
Yes,
that's his jersey.
She was born during the Sidney Rice era, and my youngest was born. She's 12, so a little before Justin. So it's a little older jersey, but.
I feel like I was reborn during the Sidney Rice era. That was a great, brief era.
1 year. Great year.
Enough for him to like make a bunch of money and then launch a winery in Washington.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
He's a wine man. So yeah, give us the rest of your backstory as a Vikings fan, Tony.
Well, I'm a little closer to age to Sports Dad than I am anybody else on the show. So in 85, I was 10 years old. 87, like 85, 86, around that time frame. I remember my dad in 87 saying, Tony, you got to watch this game. You got to watch Eric Dickerson. My dad loved Eric Dickerson. Yeah. The Vikings and Rams were playing. And that game, Anthony Carter went 4 for 117 and a touchdown. And I got hooked on that game, Anthony Carter. I didn't care what Dickerson did. And there was no turning back at that point in time. So my dad had me watching Dickerson, and I left loving Anthony Carter. So.
A guy who we've discussed this quite a bit on the show belongs in the Ring of Honor.
He does.
From his statistical standpoint, and man, was he good.
He was.
What a great pickup.
He was fantastic, and I've been a fan ever since. The more downs than ups, as every Viking fan goes through. So.
Yeah, Anthony Carter was definitely my first kid's jersey as like a 5-year-old back in the day.
Nice. At that time frame, if you got the jersey, like you could order them out of like the Sears and J.C. Penney's catalogs. It was Herschel Walker back when I was a kid, so I was not going Herschel Walker.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Love it. You knew that everyone else lauded that trade, but you knew that they gave up way too much draft pick compensation.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a wide receiver, so Anthony Carter was my instant hook.
Beautiful.
Love it. So, all right, Tony, you're going to start off. We'll go Tony, Judd, Dex, back to me. 3 trips around the room. Football or show-related and quantifiable are the only parameters here. So, fire away, Tony.
All right. I made mine kind of themed here. I have a draft hot take. I have a draft, and then I have the beginning and the end of an era. So, we'll start with the draft since the draft's tomorrow. I took a 3-draft parlay, and I'm banking on someone from the 2022 draft. So this better be a touchdown and a 2-point conversion because that draft was terrible. So here's my 3-draft parlay. We're going to start with 2022. I think Ty Chandler remains on the team as our kick returner, and he will have a kick return touchdown this season.
Yeah.
From the 2023 draft, we're going to go with Jordan Addison. He will finally have his first 1,000-yard season. He's only 911 is his most. And with last year's draft, Dallas Turner will have 10 or more sacks.
Wow, look at this parlay.
That's an aggressive parlay. Wow, I like it.
It's gonna happen. This is the year, man. I have never been this excited.
You know what that means, though. I mean,
Tony, be very careful.
Yeah,
It does. It means that they're going to win 8 games. That's
be,
gonna happen.
be very careful. Your emotions, you're very fragile right now. I can feel
Tony's
it as
like-
a Vikings therapist.
Have you guys ever seen that movie, or it's like a documentary called Free Solo, I think,
Yeah.
where Alex Honnold is like climbing these ridiculous rock structures without. That's Tony. Where he's like, I don't need the security rope, guys.
No harness.
Just let me go. Just let me. No harness.
I think the scariest one of them all is banking on Ty Chandler for a kick return
Yeah,
touchdown.
I think that's toughest one. Yeah.
Because he might not actually be on the team.
I know.
Yeah, but the
But I didn't
Dallas.
say as a Viking. So if he goes somewhere else and has a kick return touchdown,
Oh, I
Same
like
with
it.
Addison. If Addison gets traded
I
on
like
draft
it.
night,
he's
like
not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere.
The Turner one's aggressive though. Like that would be a phenomenal season.
Yep.
So.
He had 3 last year.
Write this down.
All right, write this down for the draft. The Vikings will select all of these positions. So I'm going to give you within their right now 4 picks. I'm going to give you 3 positions. They will select a defensive tackle. They will select a tight end. They will select a running back. So they will take a defensive tackle, a tight end, and a running back in this draft.
I tell you, Thor and I this morning have just been back and forth draft texts. I don't think he's slept in. He takes 4-hour naps once in a while, but we're both kind of all in on Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan. That was one of JJ McCarthy's best friends.
Yeah,
chemistry together.
I think he might be gone though.
I know. I don't
Like,
see
that's
him
your-
being there at 24.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had heavier personnel, Hawkinson and Loveland for at least a year, and then you've got your third blocking tight end in Josh Oliver.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, if he's there,
Write this down.
if he's at 24, that would be interesting.
Man, we're all synced up here because I had just this as a singular. Write that down. The Vikings will draft a tight end in this year's class, so they'll draft a tight end at some point. I think they will. So
Yeah, they're kind of thin in that room.
yeah, so they'll draft a tight end, whether that's Loveland or that's like a 5th round pick, 7th round flyer. They'll draft a tight end.
Okay, write this down.
Write this down.
What's the official? Is it the 28th Monday? The deadline to avoid affecting your comp pick formula?
I think that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I will say by the end of Tuesday, so we'll just say, I don't know, by like midnight, Tuesday, 11:59 p.m. By the end of Tuesday, it will be reported or announced that the Vikings have added an established NFL player. Because they're going to have like the UDFA class, so I need to be more distinct. They're going to add players.
Right.
But an established NFL player who has, I'll just say, played in at least 10 NFL games.
Okay.
Or if I'll go 15, just to make it a little higher, like at least a season. And where I'm going with this is I think they announce QB2 or the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line comes through with old Asante Samuel Jr.
I'll
by
take
the
door
end of
2
Tuesday.
right now. I think door 2, more likely.
Write this down.
All right, back to Tony.
All right. So my next 2 picks are the beginning and an end of an era. So we're going to start with the beginning of an era. You can write this down. JJ McCarthy will have a top 5 season regarding passing yards and TDs. He will be top 5 season ever. So he'll throw more than 4,265 yards and have 33 touchdowns.
Wow.
Write it down.
Let's go. LFG.
You are all in, Tony.
It's
Tony
the year.
isn't. I feel like Tony's in a dangerous place right now,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if we should like pull him back a little bit, or
It
just
doesn't
let
feel
him
like
keep
it.
going out on the tightrope.
You are committed to the success of this team, knowing what you know. Like you have faced the dangers and the wrath of this franchise, and yet you are still of a belief that they are, dare I say it, going all the way.
Not only is
I love what they
Tony,
did this offseason.
not only is Tony, he's the free solo guy, Alex. Do you remember the Nick Wallenda, I think it was?
Oh yeah.
Who tightrope walked across the Grand Canyon wearing jeans? It was like a live
George,
I think it was jeans. It's like, is he wearing jeans? Is there a harness? This is Tony right now, just looking down at the Grand Canyon. Love this.
Write this down.
All right, Judd.
All right, write this down. So we still have not seen a first round trade yet. Like it's still quiet. Now there are rumblings about the Giants and Browns taking phone calls. There's some speculation the Bears might actually try to trade up into the top 5 to get Ashton Genty. But write this down. By the end of the first round, there will have been no fewer than 5 trades made involving that round itself. So I think because this draft, there's so much fluctuation and uncertainty, I do think there's going to be a ton of trades when teams start to see who is falling where. I think the question is, when's that going to happen? And I think it's probably going to take until the draft actually starts because it's so uncertain. So 5 trades will be made, no fewer, I should say, just in case there's more than 5 trades in the first round.
So 5, or if you get a 5th trade, then this hits for you, right?
Yes, no fewer than 5. So if it's 7, it still hits, but it has to get to 5.
Got it. Okay.
Write this down.
Another similar prediction. We're all just clicking today. But I'm going to make a specific team. Write this down. The 49ers will either trade up or make multiple first-round picks in this year's draft. So either they go up the board or they find a way to get back in and get 2 first-round picks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 2.
All right.
Good
Write
talk.
this down.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent talk.
It's a great talk. Yep.
Go Niners.
All right.
Go Niners.
What was the impetus for your Niners? Because it's kind of random.
Thor brought it up on our last episode that he said the Niners are the team to watch to maybe even move up the board.
Yeah.
And make a splash at the draft.
They do need to replenish talent for sure. They've been kind of leaking talent. So, okay, write this down.
Write this down.
We kind of touched on this. I think Ashton Genty is going to be the first top 5 drafted running back, I think, since Saquon Barkley 8 years ago. So I will go on the record and say Ashton Genty will be a top 5 pick in the 2025 NFL draft.
That seems pretty safe right now.
He's a lot of the projections are like 6 to the Raiders or 10 to the Bears.
It's going up. It feels like it's been going up.
Yeah, it's probably not because he's being mocked 6 in some cases. Probably not a touchdown in this case, but
Write this down.
I think it's going to happen. Okay, Tony, what is your third and final prediction?
All right, here's the end of an era. And this show can't go anywhere for a while because I need you guys to validate this one. This past year's Super Bowl 59, that is the last time we will ever see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in a Super Bowl together as QB head coach.
Like together?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will not play and coach together in another Super Bowl again.
Wow.
There's
Definitely
a lot
the
of
end of
ways,
an era.
yeah. Could definitely see that. That.
How old is Andy Reid now? In his mid-60s?
He's in his 60s, yeah.
Or is he pushing? He's 67. He just turned 67 years old on March 19th.
So are you thinking, Tony, that Reid retires more so, or that the Chiefs just start to take a step back?
I think they have already started to take a step back. I'm not sold on their squad the way I have been in the last previous years, but
Sure.
I think Andy Reid has to be close to retirement.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You got to enjoy some part of your life at that point. You know what I mean? Go do
I
something.
feel
else.
like
Go
some
golf.
of these guys, though, it's like Bill Belichick. Go enjoy your life. He's like, I'm dating a 23-year-old and coaching football. That's what
Who's like helping run the North Carolina football program.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know more about what's going on here, but yeah.
Super weird. And Andy Reid, I think he just likes cheeseburgers and grinding film.
Who doesn't?
Well,
Yeah,
they're not going to the Super Bowl together anymore, so it's okay.
No more cheeseburgers for him.
Yep. Well, he'll have more time for cheeseburgers if he wants. Tony, great work here. We wish you luck with your predictions. Since you've got this platform right now, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get here today?
My wife and kids for putting up with me. I mean, it's they're on this roller coaster the same way I am. I dragged my wife across the country to watch the Vikings. We try to get to a game every year. So, it's her putting up with me and you guys, man. I just found out about you guys this past August. I emailed, I think it was Judd. I was in an airport in Miami, and in an airport in Miami, between the airport and my flight, 3 different Viking fans. I ran into 3. I sat in the aisle with one, and all of them were like, "Do you listen to Purple Daily?" And I'm like, "I've never heard of this show."
Wow.
In Miami of all places. So I did
That's
have I had a
incredible.
Vikings T-shirt on, which caught the eye of the people. But everybody was like, "Check out the show." I've missed 4 episodes since August 3rd. Listening, I take in everything. So it's great for someone stuck in the middle of Pennsylvania. I'm right in the middle of Steel or Eagle country, right in the middle. So yeah, State College right at Penn State University. And so it's great. You guys are the outlet that us fans who are 15 and a half hours away, we need you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing, man. No, thanks for the kind words. And yeah, it's kind of crazy for us to hear stories like that too, because we've been so, like, even doing radio for so many years, you're basically broadcasting to just like the Twin Cities area. And I think podcast and YouTube has opened up such a different world for people that either used to live in Minnesota or became Vikings fans through some other way. So yeah, thank you for finding us, Tony, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
there he is, guest listener, predictor Tony. Hopefully we get to see some of you transplants from wherever you're coming from. I think last year, 29 different states were represented at the draft party at the Fillmore. And this year's draft party is happening tomorrow night. The 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. The pre-party is 3:30 to 5 at Brixworth, kind of across the street, or kitty corner, if you will. Vikings legend Chuck Foreman is going to be in the house. And it's just a few minutes, not even a few minutes, just like a few steps to the Fillmore right after. She can walk over there, get in. 5 o'clock, doors open for VIP, 5:30 for general admission. If you're looking for a last-minute stay, Element Hotel right next to the Fillmore, offering a 15% room rate discount, scorenorth.com/element. And yeah, just a major shout-out to Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, 2 Men in a Junk Truck, Roku, and all of our partners. You can find out more information for tomorrow night at scorenorth.com/draft. For those of you that can't make it, we will be live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel from 7 p.m. until the end of the first round. Speaking of 2 Men in a Truck, Dex, I know you guys have been in close communication here the last few weeks.
Yeah, 2 Men in a Truck is going to help us out. They're going to move all that big stuff that obviously we can't handle, and thank God that they're able to come and rescue us here to make that move a lot easier. You don't have to worry about trying to fit it in your car or figuring out how am I going to do this. Luckily, 2 Men in a Truck makes this process a lot easier for you. No hidden fees or service charges. What they quote is what you pay, and they want to simplify that moving process for you. So don't wait. Don't wait to reclaim your space. And they also, if you want some of that junk removed, they can take care of that as well. Go to 2meninatruck.com to find a location near you. Tell them that Purple Daily sent you. 2meninatruck.com to learn more.
Minnesota Rusco also powering these Write That Down predictions today. Cody and Casey do such a great job over there helping people, whether it's an indoor remodel or an outdoor remodel, windows, doors, siding, bathrooms, kitchens, decks, roofing, you name it. They offer a multitude of home improvement products and services to improve the look and value of your home and lifestyle. And all throughout the month of April, you got 1 week left to take advantage of their biggest sale of the year. It's the free days sale from Minnesota Rusco. For a limited time, get totally free labor on kitchens, bathrooms, windows, siding, roofing, doors, and decks. You also get payment-free and interest-free financing and a free gift. So they're very generous at Minnesota Rusco. This is your chance to turn your remodel into a reality. You can also check out a number of customer reviews, people that were highly, highly satisfied with their experience at Minnesota Rusco when you go to minnesotarusco.com. Serving Minnesotans since 1955.
Write that down.
Write this down.
All right.
My final Write That Down, related to the draft, but actually that takes place as the draft is ongoing and then announced afterwards, the UDFA class.
Oh,
Last year, the Vikings signed 17 guys. This year, they will sign, write this down, no fewer than 18 players from that class. So the undrafted class, the Vikings will sign 18 or more, probably a better way to phrase it. players for priority free agents, or AKA UDFAs.
Aren't they? I feel like they've got a 2-year running streak of being the highest bidder for the top UDFA, right? Didn't Ivan Pace get the bag?
Yep.
The bag, like
Gabriel Murphy.
and then
Andre
Gabriel
Carter.
Murphy.
Yep.
A lot of depth there too,
Yep.
as we discussed, because of the COVID class and a ton of guys that probably might be 7th-round picks who aren't going to be drafted. So I think this is a very fruitful class for the Vikings.
Yeah. All right. I could definitely,
Write this down.
if we see them loading up, because if they don't have 10 draft picks, then you got to load up on the UDFAs.
Fill that roster out, 90 men.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these scripted plays happening. This is incredible. Write this down. The Vikings will hand out at least $240,000 in guaranteed money to a UDFA. For some context, I believe Ivan Pace got $235. Gabriel Murphy got like close to over $240. Andre Carter got like $245. So like they have given a ton of money to UDFAs, guys that were maybe even projected to be early day three picks. So there will be a UDFA that the Vikings sign that will earn at least $240K in guaranteed money. Write it down.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Go bid it up.
Yeah, Carter. Who picked him up last year? He got picked up, right?
He
got
did. Yeah.
Signed. Was it Seattle or San Francisco?
Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I knew it was the West Coast. I just didn't know, or towards the West. I didn't know where. I'd forgotten.
I'll give you this one here to
Write this down.
wrap the predictions. So Thor gave us on Monday. We asked him, who are the players that if you were the Vikings, like that you should be really looking at around the 24th pick.
Right.
And he gave us like 6 names. I'm going to whittle that down to 3. So I think I trust Thor's radar on this. And so I will say the Vikings will draft one of these 3 players with their first pick. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle. Or Gray Zabel,
Okay.
offensive lineman, NDSU. Now, the NDSU thing goes, as Forno has pointed out, it kind of goes against the Kwesi and the Vikings, especially with their early picks, have been really Power 5, Power 4 heavy. They trust the big schools, the Georgias, the Alabamas. Well, Derek Harmon, Oregon, Walter Nolan, Ole Miss, right, would fit that category. Gray Zabel would be a deviation from that. But his versatility, my guess is because he's a South Dakota, North Dakota, upper Midwest guy, the Vikings probably have even more intel on him, just being in the region. So I could see them deviating. So Derek Harmon, Walter Nolan, and or Gray Zabel, they will go trenches, one of those 3 guys specifically, with their first pick.
Okay. So no, I thought that you might throw a corner on there just to be safe, but
No, I don't. I keep seeing the Nick Eman-Wari thing, and I get that they need. But let's say the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line is correct, and they've got a deal ready to rock and roll 2 days after the draft ends with Asante Samuel Jr. Do they really? And he's 25 years old. Byron Murphy's 27, long-term contract. Isaiah Rodgers is mid-20s, 26?
Yep.
And they seem to love him. Mekhi Blackman coming back from injury. Dwight McLaughlin was a premier UDFA last year. I don't know that you would spend if you've got a deal in place. If you don't, it's kind of a game changer, obviously.
Right.
But if you have a deal in place, I almost feel like it would be malpractice unless it's like, holy cow, we literally have this cornerback was 12th on our board.
Right.
And we're now sitting here with the 24th pick, and he's just clearly the best player. Then okay, go best player available.
Right. Yeah. The Eman-Wari thing is once Thor basically just destroyed him, just absolutely destroyed him. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense of why. Because like you got to be careful there. Like I know that these jack of all trades guys fit the Flores profile very, very well, but you also have to be careful because to ask a guy to do that, like Josh Metellus for a 6th-round pick is an incredible story. Like you can't just take a guy who you're like, well, he did this in college, so he can do it. Like there's a lot of moving parts that go into doing that. So, and once Thor eviscerated him, basically, I was like, oh, okay, that would make no sense then for them.
Yeah, and he's more of a safety sort of like Josh Metellus kind of
Well,
jack of all trades hybrid player. So
You know what we're
maybe
seeing? We're seeing a lot of now, and I do not recall this until the last few years. A lot of safeties now who are considered to be sufficient nickel corners, basically.
Mhm.
I don't remember that ever before. Like it was always corners, and it feels like the two changes that I think are versatility on the O line, which was always sort of a backup guy thing, right? Like I can play tackle or guard if guys get hurt. Well, it feels now like starters are like that. So I might come in as a guard, but then I can go play left tackle. I don't recall that being the norm for like first round picks before
Yeah.
ever.
it's actually kind of crazy how it feels like some positions are getting smaller in the NFL. Like linebackers used to be 265 pounds with a big neck roll and massive shoulder pads. And now you're seeing these Ivan Pace type dudes that probably would have been height, weight, physically safeties
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes.
And so you're getting, and even like the way that teams value interior pass rushers, you still see the 330, 340 pound guys once in a while, but it's like teams are more willing to put leaner, faster, smaller players in places that maybe they wouldn't 20 years ago.
Yep.
But then on the offensive side of the ball, you go look at like the vaunted Washington Redskin Hogs offensive line, and the average size of that's like in the 80s. The average size of a Washington lineman was like 270 pounds.
Yep.
And now, man, if you come into the league and you like Garrett Bradbury sometimes is like 300, maybe 304, and it's like, oh, he's got to get more sand in his pants.
Right.
So just the evolution of sizes and weights of certain positions is really interesting. And that jack of all trades kind of a slot. Is he a safety? Is he a safety slot? Is he a corner?
I like
I mean,
to call
Cam Bynum has been both throughout his football career too.
Yeah. I like to call it positionless football.
That's right.
Positionless football is here. It's like basketball. You don't know where a guy's going to play.
Yeah. Okay, something just hit the presses here.
I want a mock.
Peter Schrager just put out his one and only mock draft, and wow is all I have to say.
Oh, and it's moved sites now too, huh? It's
on ESPN.com.
ESPN.com. It's paying off.
The countdown is on for the 2025 draft. It's time for my one and only mock draft where I project the first round and only the first round. As always, this isn't what I would do if I were the GM for every team. It's how I'd sort through the top 32 picks based on what I'm hearing from my sources.
Sources?
And Peter Schrager's very, very plugged in.
How's Schefter taking this?
Yeah.
Does Shefty do a mock?
No, but I'm just saying it's like a guy has come into his house with sources.
So he's an insider willing to mock.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wagging the finger.
No.
That was the count, too? It sounded like the count.
Yeah.
No. One
One mock draft.
One
Two
mock-
mock draft.
Three trades.
One
four
insider.
trades.
What he has the Vikings doing, I don't think I have seen in any mock draft yet.
Gasp.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get there after we say hello to standard heating and air conditioning.
That's right. That's right. You wanna make sure you're scheduling maintenance, just like you're scheduling maintenance on those mock drafts, Peter. Whether it's repair, replacing your HVAC, and during Standard's pre-summer heat savings event, you can beat the rush and save big. Get that tune-up, extend the life of that air conditioner. Make sure that repair isn't coming at the worst possible time. You want to make sure that thing is in good shape. Call Standard or get in contact with them at standardheating.com. Big deals now, big relief later. And if you're part of their smart club like me, you get priority booking and some discount on repairs as well, so join that too. Standardheating.com to tune up that air conditioning.
Also, Brixworth is, as we mentioned earlier, that is the home for the Purple Daily Draft Party pre-party tomorrow. Just steps away from the Fillmore and steps away from Target Center, Target Field. It's patio season, and they have one of the biggest, best patios in the North Loop, pretty much anywhere in Minneapolis, quite frankly. You got the skyline views. And so we'll be there tomorrow at Brixworth from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, hanging out, maybe enjoying a beverage or two. Chuck Foreman, Vikings legend, is going to be in the house, hanging out and chopping it up. You get a custom pint glass when you mention the Purple Daily Draft Party at Brixworth tomorrow. They're also offering a $4 Kill the Keg special beer for the party. So, yeah, hang out with us, Brixworth in the North Loop from 3:30 to 5 o'clock.
I want a mock.
This is, I love it. I love it when the insiders go against the grain of like what most mock sites are doing here. He does have some trades. It's not too wild. In fact, there's really nothing like no trades early. He's got Cam Ward to the Titans, Peter Schrager. He's got Travis Hunter to the Browns. He says, I'm hearing there are a few teams making calls to get up to number 2. We might hear more about this in the next 24 hours, but for now, he has the Browns taking Travis Hunter. He's got Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. Will Campbell to the Patriots at 4, the offensive tackle from LSU. Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State at 5 to the Jags. Okay, I'm going to bounce around here a little bit. His first trade is the Colts moving up to 10 with the Bears to take tight end Michigan, Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
The Colts give up the 14, so they swap the 10 and the 14, and then the Bears get the 80th pick, so the Bears move back. Walter Nolan, one of the Vikings' potential targets there, lands with the 49ers at 11.
Okay.
Skipping down here. Okay, the Bears grab another Thor target, Kelvin Banks Jr., the tackle from Texas.
They are, if that's the case, they are really shoring up that offensive line.
And they get the extra pick, the 80th pick. Jade Barron, cornerback Texas to the Cardinals at 16. Player of note for the Vikings. Gray Zabel to the Seahawks at 18.
He'd be a great Seahawk, right? Seattle, Pacific Northwest,
Flannels,
North
facial
Dakota
hair.
State guy. He could just like take his North Dakota State house and just put it in Seattle. It would be absolutely perfect.
He probably lived like more like outstate Washington, out in the boonies, in the shade of the trees.
Yep.
Shadur Sanders, who hinted on a podcast this week that they asked him like who are the best quarterback receiver tandems, and he went through historically some of his favorites, and he said, and whoever is throwing the ball this season to George Pickens and DK Metcalf, and he smiled. And they were like, oh, does that mean that you have some information about where you're going to go? Well, Peter Schrager says Shadur Sanders 21 to the Steelers.
Okay.
And that brings us to the 24th overall pick, where the Vikings do not trade back. They stand pat. And they select out of North Carolina running back Omarion Hampton.
I want a mock.
I find this really interesting. Like, in one hand, I guess I'd push back a little bit, but,
No.
Aaron Jones is no kid. You've got a running back room now that's improved, but certainly not solidified for the future at all. Now, is Hampton supposed to, in most mocks, has he been falling this far?
He has definitely fallen to like 20. He's in that kind of
Right. He's in this zip code, but he's usually not getting to the Vikings' house, right?
right, which is, and I'm just pulling
So
up.
it's
I'll give
interesting.
you the write up in a second here, but I'm just pulling up the PFF big board. I'm curious to see where they have him. Outside the top 25. And then Mel Kiper just published his big board, which is very different. Both of them love Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. But he has Omarion Hampton, Mel Kiper, as the 14th player on his big board. A dude who the last 2 years at North Carolina has rushed for a total of 3,100 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, we saw him here.
And he also caught 38 passes for 373 yards too. Just an absolute stud. 6 yards a carry the last 2 years and playing a pretty tough schedule.
Right.
So Schrager says the Vikings have needs elsewhere and wouldn't list running back as a clear hole on their roster. But if Hampton is on the board, and according to Kiper, this would be 10 slots worth of value here. 14th player on the big board falling to 24.
Sure.
He'd be a wonderful addition to a young core that the organization hopes can grow old together.
So what's the because this is a position where you don't need to wait to play. Like you can step right in and play. what's the how does this work in 2025 then? Because I feel like
I don't know.
I don't feel like you need 3 then.
Do you?
Like-
I mean, would you trade it? Can you trade Aaron Jones? You just signed him to a deal. I don't know, man.
And a running back shouldn't like that. This is the one spot where the proverbial red shirt year doesn't apply. Like you just step in and play. So
Yeah.
it creates.
Yeah,
an
I guess you'd have
interesting
you kind of a 3-headed monster, and you'd go running back by committee with these dudes, and
3 running backs all at the same time. Who knows?
hey,
what's
they
going
did it.
on?
They did it pretty successfully 20 years ago. They drafted Michael Bennett in the first round, and then they had the steal of the draft, Ontario Smith,
Yeah, blast.
and Mo Weldy, or was it Mo Williams?
Well,
I think it was Mo Williams.
It might have been Mo. It might have been Mo. Yeah.
all 4 of those guys, I feel like, had 200 carries for back-to-back seasons. Like they all just had so many carries.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
hate it. If it's best player available and he's
Right.
sitting there and he's going to be a stud player, he's your Jahmyr Gibbs for the next like 6 or 7 years. I'm all about this.
I don't hate it. I just don't know if you need the 3 of them. Then like that would be my one question, because I would want Hampton to play.
But that's also like I think it's so easy to get caught up in right now. They don't need it.
Right.
But Aaron Jones is 30.
Oh, right.
And
No.
and you make the mistake of, we need a center, we should draft Garrett Bradbury. And then 3 years go by and you're like, damn it, Dexter Lawrence was there.
Correct.
But because we had Linval Joseph, whatever, on the team,
Correct.
we didn't take this generational interior offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So-
No. I'm saying I want to subtract 1 from the room then.
And you might have to wait. Hey, we've already talked about the last 2 times, or the 2 times in the last 27 years, where they've hit the biggest home runs in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They did not need, and you could even make a case in 1998. What are you going to do with a third receiver? You got Jake Reed's like 4 years in a row, 1,000-yard receiver. Chris Carter's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? And they told Jake Reed, you're going to get kind of bounced over here to this.
Yeah.
Jake Reed is the Aaron Jones in this case, if it was a
Right.
receiver.
Right.
And I get that 2007 is different because it was Chester Taylor, and then like I guess Moeldy Moore became your third back, and he was like a punt returner and
That was not hard.
So I don't know. I don't hate. I'm not ruling anything out.
I did hear some speculation. I believe it was on one of the ESPN football shows yesterday, that the Giants could emerge at 24 as a trade partner to get potentially Jackson Dart.
That's exactly what Schrager had at 25, the
Okay.
pick after the Vikings.
Okay.
Them moving back in for Jackson Dart.
But we should look at the Giants draft collateral right now, because I could see that too. Like we've talked about potential trade partners at 24. Well, it sounds like the Giants would like to take a quarterback, but the prevailing theory is it would be really pushing it to take like Jackson Dart at 7 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So
They've got and these are all mostly early in the rounds here. First round pick, they've got the second pick in the second round, the first pick in the third round, then they have another pick in the third. I think that's a comp pick.
okay.
So they've got a stash. They also have an early fourth round pick.
Ooh, okay.
So you could easily get like one of those 2 third round picks, that fourth round pick, and it would give you something else to go with your 97th overall pick. And then you move back to the beginning of the second round. Schrags, man, that dude's plugged in.
Oh, he does a lot. Yes, he does a lot of work.
Yep. All right, boys. We are 1 sleep away from actual draft day. We will have our Thursday. I think we're gonna just turn the Thursday episode into a live stream tomorrow morning around like 10:45 a.m. Central Time. And then we will be live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and at the Fillmore, Minneapolis at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. This is Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.